Welcome back, everyone. Let's go ahead and take a look at the iPhone 13 and compare it against the iPhone 12. Now, you may already be able to tell which one's which, but if I flip into the back, you can see the 13 is the one on the left with diagonal blue color. The 12 is the one on the right. Now, we're going to do a comparison. I'm going to tell you if you want to pick up either one of these things. Links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, there really isn't that big of a difference. The panels I've tested, they are kind of the same exact thing, but you can tell the notches are actually a little bit different. If I put them right on top of one another, you can see that the notch on the iPhone 13 is much smaller than the notch on the iPhone 12. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It doesn't bring any functionality difference, but it is a good thing. But to be honest, I've tested them side by side. I can't really tell that big of a difference. In terms of thinness and thickness, it was rumored that the iPhone 13s are a little bit thicker, and I kind of do get that vibe, but to be honest, when they're side by side, I can't tell the difference. But if one had to be thicker, I would probably say the iPhone 13. But you can see there's some differences. The switchers, in terms of the switcher, like the ringers, it's a little bit lower, and the volume buttons are overall lower on the iPhone 13 as well, which is kind of weird. Lightning ports on the bottom, and nothing else on the side except for the power button. And on the back, you can see dual camera setups on both. It's diagonal on the iPhone 13. On the iPhone 12, it's up and down. Wireless charger right here. More color options on the iPhone 13, which look pretty cool, but I still like that standard white one as well. And in terms of the outside, that really pretty much covers it. There's not a whole lot else that's different between the two. Now, I will answer this question in terms of longevity. You're definitely getting a longer lasting phone from the iPhone 13. This one is definitely going to outlast the iPhone 12. No matter which way you look at it, you're going to be getting a longer lasting phone from the iPhone 13. So do keep that in mind. So if you want the phone that's going to last you the longest amount of time, the 13 is the best way to go. But the iPhone 12 is still going to be extremely long lasting. And as far as I can tell, and from what I've heard and kind of just what I'm kind of seeing, the iPhone 12 may be like an iPhone 5S. It may be like a 5S and 6 type of relationship here, where they both may end up at the same time in terms of software. So we don't know. There's definitely more similarities than not, but that pretty much covers it up in that standpoint. Now, I will go ahead and do a speed comparison between the two because this is probably the thing you want to see the most of. The iPhone 13 has that Apple A15 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone 12 has that Apple A14 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigs of RAM as well. So let's go and see which one is the faster phone between both of those. Now, I will be doing a full speed comparison between both of these at some point, but let's go ahead and just kind of do a quick one between the two. Let's go and open up phone calls. 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 12 is on the left, the iPhone 13 is on the right, so do keep that in mind. Let's go into music. 3, 2, 1. And it does look like the iPhone 13 is, they're kind of stuck here, but the iPhone 12 did load up that panel first. So it's things like these that I really don't understand. Let's do their app stores. 3, 2, 1. And both kind of the same. I think the iPhone 13 was faster there. Scrolling through in terms of the speed here, they both look about the same. I don't really think there's that big of a difference here. Animations wise too, you're not going to see that big of a difference in terms of animations between the two. Hopping out of this zone, we can go and get to news. 3, 2, 1. And pretty much the same thing. Maybe the 12 was a little bit faster there. Let's get into their cameras. 3, 2, 1. And we do get in a little of a pop-up here, but pretty much the same thing. Mail, 3, 2, 1. iPhone 13 was faster. Photos, 3, 2, 1. Kind of about the same thing too. We did get into a pop-up here. Now, as always, I have a bunch of these third-party apps we can go and get into. So let's do Netflix, 3, 2, 1. And we do get into a pop-up here, which is very unfortunate. Hopping out of this one, let's get into Snapchat, 3, 2, 1. iPhone 13 was a little bit faster there for sure. Let's get into Thank You, 3, 2, 1. And I hope we don't get into any more pop-ups or anything, but it's still a possibility. And you can see the iPhone 13 definitely was far faster there. In terms of gameplay speed, I don't think you're going to see that big of a difference. Snake vs. Blocks, 3, 2, 1. And again, I hope we don't get into any more pop-ups. And you can see definitely the iPhone 13 was the faster one here. Getting into some gameplay again, I don't think we're going to see that big of a difference, but it's always interesting to see how both phones, compare, and it's a pretty basic game. Let's get into Stack, 3, 2, 1. And we do get into a pop-up here. I think it would have been kind of roughly around the same had it not been for that pop-up. Fruit Ninja, 3, 2, 1. And both were pretty much the same, but the 13 definitely was faster here. But I was actually pretty surprised how well the iPhone 12 did kind of in that specific, comparison. Let's do Facebook 321. Again, the 13 is the faster one. Twitter 321. Again, I think the 13 is definitely the far faster one. Instagram 321. And again, iPhone 13 is the faster one there. Temple Run 2 321. And I do think we're going to get into some pop-ups here and there. So I was quick to go ahead and click on that one. That was an annoying one, but I still was kind of quick to it. I still would probably give the edge to the iPhone 13, but the iPhone 12 still did a really, really good job in that standpoint. So that really pretty much covers up all the apps that I wanted to test. I'm pretty sure RAM management is going to be about the same because they both have the same amount of RAM. Surprisingly there though, the iPhone 13 did restart. Keep that in mind. The iPhone 13, it looks like, restarted that app. Maybe it didn't. I don't know why it went into Apple Music there. Let's go into Apple Music here. So this one restarted too. So maybe it wasn't that big of a deal as I kind of reacted. News 321, this one kind of looks the same. So maybe they were about the same. I think I may have overreacted there a little bit. But in terms of both, they both kind of be doing the same thing. So in terms of speed, that kind of covers that up. Now let's go ahead and hit on the cameras. Now this is going to be a quick one. I'm going to do a full camera comparison. So this is just a quick one to kind of hit on both, but same dual camera setup and pretty much the same sensors overall. You're getting 4K 60 on the front and the back, so no 8K on the iPhone 13 or anything like that. Now in terms of features, you are getting an additional cinematic mode on the iPhone 13 where we don't have that on the iPhone 12. So keep that in mind. But from everything else I've tested, they kind of had the same exact thing. They have portrait mode, panoramic mode, whatever. The cinematic mode is the additional one here, slow-mo and time-lapse mode as well. So definitely when it comes down to it, you're getting, I guess, more features on the iPhone 13. Now on the iPhone 12 sensor, this was a really good camera. Even at that time when it came out, it was still really good. And even now, it's still really, really good. If I swipe over to photo, I mean, 4K 60 on the back and the front, it's still pretty close to perfect in my opinion. It's definitely not amazing, but Apple did hype up this camera a lot on the iPhone 13. And although it isn't perfect, it's still probably better. But from what I've tested, I have not seen that big of a difference between the two. The iPhone 12's camera is still extremely good for sure. Now on the iPhone 13 camera, this one, with that diagonal lens, I'm sure it's a little bit better. But here's the thing, I don't really tell that big of a difference. You have that additional cinematic mode, which I think is really cool. So it makes it kind of have, it's like portrait mode video. So it does make it a little bit more blurrier and stuff, kind of like if I use this camera, but it's still not amazing. And I still would prefer something like a DSLR. And after using this iPhone camera for a little bit, it's definitely not topping my DSLR from like 2014. You know what I mean? So this thing is still good. It's better than the iPhone 12 probably, but I'm not switching to this, full time by any means. I will also test out the battery life in a further comparison, probably to get more idea from. But from what I've seen, from what I've tested, they both kind of have the same thing going on, to be completely honest. And if it came down to it, I think the iPhone 13 is probably better because it does have that bigger size battery. So I would give the edge to the iPhone 13 there. So that pretty much covers up this quick comparison. I pretty much hit on a majority of the main things I wanted to that I usually do. And to kind of answer the question, should you buy an iPhone 13? Should you upgrade from your iPhone 12 to the 13 and all that good stuff? I will probably tell you, of course, if you have an iPhone 12, if you have all the money in the world, definitely go and upgrade to the 13. But the difference here, there's such a little difference, it's not even funny. These are almost identically the same phones. If you handed me an iPhone 12 and then you handed me an iPhone 13 and I wasn't able to look at the camera, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference at all. They are almost identically the same phone. If you can get an iPhone 12, even brand new, bro, I'm going to be honest, the iPhone 12 is a much better value for a brand new phone. I'm not saying this is a better phone than this, but it's a better value. It's a much cheaper phone than an iPhone, 13. But if you're talking about storage variants, the 128 gigabyte of the iPhone 12 is, this almost the same price as this one. It's like a $50 difference. So you might as well pick up an iPhone 13 at that standpoint. I think the iPhone 13 is the better phone here. But from the things that I normally test, it's just almost the same phone. It's not any more faster. The notch doesn't really add anything else. It's pretty much the same phone. If this had some crazy cool feature, then I would probably be overhyping it and saying it's the craziest thing ever. But I'm not really seeing that. So when it comes down to it, I would definitely recommend buying an iPhone 13 over an iPhone 12, but I don't really notice that big of a difference, to be honest. They kind of give me the same vibe when it comes down to it, and that's pretty much all I have to say about it. Again, more comparisons are coming, full battery, full speed, and full camera comparisons, but this is kind of my first glimpse. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.